Welcome to Animals Voice Pawdcast. I'm your host, Kevin McKenzie. Happy to be joined today by Gayle Ecker. You're the director at Equine Guelph.
I am, yes. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleased to be here.
I want to talk to you about your role at Equine Guelph. I think we're going to talk about the Horse Health Tracker app as well. First, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you came to land at Equine Guelph? Is it since 2003 you've been there?
Yes, we opened July 2003.
Okay.
And so I initially was taken on as senior manager there to help develop the programs because we were starting from scratch.
Okay.
And so my major role there was to develop education programs for the horse owner. And so we started to develop something which we didn't have at the time, which is online courses for horse owners.
Okay. And I guess the genesis of the Horse Health Tracker app was right from the get-go, or?
No, actually that developed over time.
Okay.
And strangely enough, I just recently got a smartphone. So it's not because I'm really into the apps, but it was something that I felt very strongly. We had to have a tool for horse owners that was right there with them when they walked into the barn so that they could look at the horse and know, is my horse okay? That's one of the biggest questions we have as a horse owner. And when we're not sure, that's really stressful.
So, for our listeners that have never heard of the Horse Health Tracker app, what can you describe its features and what it does exactly?
Yes. So there's different levels of the app. So the free part is you can actually download the app for free and learn about what is normal for your horse and learn how to check what's normal. And we do that by what we call the Horse Health Check, which is a 16-point check on your horse. And it's all color-coded. So it's green, yellow, or red with the obvious implications.
Okay.
And then with the upgrade, you can get the training videos plus the tracker feature, which helps you record that over time. So it'll keep your data over time. And if you do run into a day where you find something that's in the yellow or the red, you can actually send that right to your vet.
You can.
And then you can send that before you have the conversation. So the vet actually has that information and you can have a better conversation with them.
That's amazing. I mean, technology taking us to new places.
It is, yeah.
Did you imagine when you started with Equine Guelph that, this is where you would end up, working on an app?
An app? No. No, in no way did I ever think I'd be working on an app.
So you said you're a recent smartphone user?
Yes. I had to buy the smartphone because we had the app.
Yeah, I guess that was what had to force you into it, right?
It was.
How have you found that? As someone who wasn't necessarily a smartphone user, has it been a quick, an easy learning curve, or has it been challenging?
No, it was quite easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it, and that was part of my concern about the app. Is okay, if I'm not an app user, is this going to be easy for me to use? And we made sure it was easy to use, just for that very reason.
That's good.
Yeah, so it is. It's very intuitive, I think, and I found it very easy to use.
Good. Tell me why it's important, to be tracking your horse's health in this way.
Yeah. One of the things about horses is they're in a barn, they're in a stable, and they're away from us. Dogs and cats are typically near us. We're seeing them every day. Horses we're not always seeing every day. And the second thing about horses is they don't whine or they don't curl up with us. And so sometimes it's really hard to pick up when something is not normal.
Okay.
And so part of the reason for me as someone who cares about welfare of horses is I wanted to give horse owners a tool that would help them, first of all, learn what is normal for their horse, because that's critical for us, because then we can see when it's abnormal. And so the health tracker helps teach us what is normal for my horse on a daily basis, and then makes us quicker to pick up when it's abnormal. And so then by having the color code on the health tracker, it very easily points when something's yellow, be careful, it's not quite right, and red, of course, that's the call the vet sign.
That's amazing. An app for everything these days.
There certainly is. Yes.
We're going to take a quick break here in Animals Voice Podcast. When we get back, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about the app, and then I want to hear a little bit more about Equine Guelph and maybe the changes you've seen over your time there. Please stay with us. We're talking to Gayle Ecker, the director from Equine Guelph, here on Animals Voice Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Animals Voice Podcast. I'm still your host, Kevin McKenzie, and I'm still with Gayle Ecker, the director from Equine Guelph. You doing okay?
Yes.
Is this going all right, this experience?
Excellent.
Were you nervous at all coming on this podcast?
Maybe a little, yes.
Oh, don't worry. We like to have fun here. We talked a little bit about the challenges and learning curve that you personally had when it came to learning to use an app, learning to use a smartphone. I want to look at it from a different perspective. How educated do you need to be about horses to properly use the app?
You don't have to have horse education. And in fact, the basic app, that's what it's designed for, is the horse owner without a lot of knowledge. And so it helps guide them to learn the basic knowledge about what is normal for my horse. And that's just so critical. And it doesn't matter whether you're 50-year experienced horse owner or a brand new horse owner. We all need to learn that knowledge. And I would say there's something for everybody to learn out of that.
That's great. You've been at Equine Guelph since 2003, you mentioned. I'm interested in hearing how you've seen it develop and grow in that time frame. Can you contrast, then and now for me?
Yes. Actually, we started out very, very small. No one had heard of us, and there were just myself and one other person as staff there. And we started building an education program because that's near and dear to my heart as an educator. And combined with a love of science and a belief in the value of evidence-based information.
Okay.
And so using that whole welfare science, my education background, we worked together with the team and built the online learning community that we now have. And that started off with 5 online courses. We now have over 20 online courses. We have 12-week courses that you can take for a welfare certificate, science certificate, or business certificate, or you can combine them into a diploma in equine studies. And then we also have short courses. So we are now a world leader in online courses for horse owners from an accredited university, and it's all evidence-based.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's quite an accomplishment. You must feel a sense of pride having seen it grow to that extent during your time there.
Yes, it's really pleased to see that, because even more than that, though, is what I love out of that is when I talk to our students about the value of that education program for them. And how it's really changed their behavior and helped them take care of their horses, and most of all, prevent problems.
That's great.
I'm not interested in the diagnostic part of it. I want to prevent the problem from happening in the first place. And the point of that is, in most cases, we can prevent it.
You sound like you love horses.
I do.
Especially in your last answer you just gave. I can hear that seeping through. What is your personal connection to horses? How did you end up doing this?
I don't think I had a choice. My parents threw me up on a horse before I could even walk.
Oh, wow.
And so I have had the great fortune of living with horses all my life.
Wow. How many horses do you have right now?
Right now, just 2, my pasture ornaments. I don't get much time to ride, but no, they're 2 lovely quarter horses.
My daughters are going to listen to this podcast now, and they're going to be like, can we go see Gayle? Because they're just crazy about horses. So
yes.
I will be in touch
All
to
right,
arrange
you're
that.
welcome.
How can our listeners learn more about the app and Equine Guelph?
We have a website, equineguelph.ca.
Okay.
And you'll see that we have the app featured prominently on that first page. And you can also go to the Google Store or Android and just Google in Horse Health Tracker app.
Okay, you mentioned Android. Is the app available on Apple products?
Apple
and Android.
Yeah, Apple and Android.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Exciting times and technology taking us to new places.
It is indeed.
Thanks for joining us here on Animals Voice Podcast, and we'll talk to you probably again in the future. I'd like that.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Gayle Ecker, the director of Equine Guelph, joining us today, and thank you as well to our listeners of Animals Voice Podcast for all of your support, all of your input and show ideas. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Twitter at OSPCA Kevin, or you can email me at kmckenzie@ospca.on.ca. Until next time, we will catch you later.
So by underserviced, we mean there is no veterinary care on the reserves. They don't have their own vets. They don't have their own medical team. They don't have anybody that comes to the reserves to help them.